Welcome to Hobby History with Todd Sawatzky Appraisals. Today is a very unique topic, perhaps a disturbing topic to some. Today I will be talking about propaganda in relation to trading cards. That's right, the Oxford Dictionary states that propaganda is the information, especially of a biased or misleading nature, used to promote a particular cause, doctrine, or point of view. And I can guarantee you that these cards are no different. But before I start showing examples of said cards, I would like to make a couple of disclaimers. Some of the images you are about to see may be offensive to some viewers, so viewer discretion is advised. Further to the first disclaimer, I do not condone the subject matter, the ideology, or the actions associated with the images you're about to see. The views of those that distributed these trading cards back in the day do not reflect the personal views of myself, my family, or anyone directly or indirectly associated with Todd Sawatzky Appraisals. All right. I'm going to be cueing the images right over here. There's going to be roughly 30 cards that I'm going to be showing you. They're going to be on roughly a 10-second loop, and they will just cycle through as I'm talking. So there's a few interesting things about these. This is a set from 1933, distributed in Germany in packs of cigarettes. So first, we take a look at the year, we take a look at the location, and then we'll take a look at how they're distributed. 1933 Germany was run by the Nazi Party, led by Adolf Hitler. On many of these cards, you'll actually see Adolf Hitler on them. And what is very unique or interesting about it is that you will see that these images probably look to be represented in a positive light, a positive view. Hence, it's propaganda. It's the doctrine that they were trying to push forward. One image that really stuck with my mind is a particular shot of him where he appears to be sitting at a kitchen table. Window open where young children appear to be having a conversation with him. Other images of him shaking hands of families, mothers. Of course, you still have your military action photos, several photos and cards showing and depicting the flag, the Nazi flag, the swastika. The swastika back in the day was considered a good luck symbol, very similar to that of a four-leaf clover. Unfortunately, Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party bastardized that image. What also is interesting is how it was distributed. Packs of cigarettes. Now in 1933, having items, trading cards even, placed in packs of cigarettes was actually quite common. Doing a little bit of research, the earliest I could find cards being distributed in cigarette packs was 1875, more than half a century before these cards were produced. So the original cards that were put in cigarette packs were known as sniffers. They were actually more of a blank card, a blank piece of cardboard, and it had multiple different uses. Part of it was it allowed you to sniff the essence of the cigarette, perhaps to see how fresh it was. Also, it protected the very delicate paper of the cigarettes, as well as providing structural integrity to the packs themselves. It didn't take very long for both the cigarette companies as well as those wanting to do promotions and advertising to start inserting cards into these packs. So some of the very first card sets that were put out there, distributed in packs of cigarettes, were stuff like athletes. I know boxing was huge in the late 1800s. Of course, baseball, various other sports. It was more of a multi-sport kind of set. They also did leaders of the world, world flags, and some of the early motion picture stars, long before motion pictures were known as talkies, or the movies that we have today. So fast forwarding to 1933 now, this is a very established, a very true practice. The card set itself is titled Kamp ums Dritte Reich. Probably didn't pronounce that very well, but the English translation, Struggle for the Third Reich. Well, history has dictated exactly what that struggle was. They were building up their armies. They were getting people on board with their doctrine so that they would fight for them. And and eventually World War II, which the Nazi Germany started, was all about world domination. They wanted to take over the world. That much we do know. What we don't see in these images, most of these images being looking, if you want to call it, looking at the Nazi Party in a positive light, is what they did to the people that didn't believe. We know that non-supporters were imprisoned, put into concentration camps, killed. And this was people from their own country. Whether it was a different religious view or just not believing in the message, these people were killed for it. I fortunately have had the opportunity to do some traveling in my life. And I've actually seen a couple of these locations where the Nazi presence was very evident. The first one I'll start with is Munich. Munich is considered by many the birthplace of the Nazi Party post-World War I. In Munich, in this one particular building, you can actually see the outline of where plaques used to be, Nazi plaques. I've also had the opportunity to go to Poland, spend time in Krakow, and just outside the city limits is perhaps is definitely one of the most infamous concentration camps that the Nazis ever put up, Auschwitz. So I did a tour there. My wife and I did a tour there. And all I can tell you is, no matter what you learn in the history books, seeing it firsthand is something else. The reason why I've decided to show these cards, to show these images, is due to the historical significance. This is, as indicated earlier, not to condone what they did. It is certainly one of the darkest chapters of our history, and these cards need to be preserved. I even reached out to a couple of museums to see if I could donate them. One of them did respond back. Apparently they have a collection of these cards already. The other one, unfortunately, did not respond to my inquiry. They have been moved to a like-minded individual like myself, someone who wants to preserve the history so we don't forget the past. The reason why these still exist today is because these were brought back by soldiers, by a soldier that fought in World War II. Probably not necessarily as a collector's item to, feature on a wall, but as a discussion piece. Look what I found. Look what the Nazis were doing. Why do we know what the Nazis do now? It is due to the brave soldiers that marched through Europe, putting a stop to it. the Allied forces. From countries around the world. My wife's grandfather, David Hamilton, he fought in World War II. In fact, he served the entire tenure, 1939 to 1945. If this is content that you found interesting, I really hope that you like and subscribe to my channel. And before I officially conclude, be kind to one another. Until next time.